Welcome to our curriculum night. I am Ms. Hetherington, and this is Accelerated Pre-Calculus. I'm going to be sort of walking you guys through a short little slideshow just to tell you guys a little bit about our class. So let's get started. So the first thing that I'll talk about is communication and how to find out a lot of answers to questions that you or your students might have. So the first place to go, I always recommend students go to the class website, which is listed here. Lots of stuff on the class website. This is where you're going to find the class syllabus, the Alpharetta High School Common Syllabus, the recovery form. The recovery form is also in Teams at this point, along with the class syllabus. So there's a couple different places where you can find those. I added different tabs to all of my class teams to make the syllabus really easy to find and the recovery form really easy to find. Also on the class website, there are extra handouts of things. If people need another copy, there are answer keys, there's all kinds of good stuff. So I encourage you to check out the class website. Another way that I keep in touch with the students and they can keep in touch with me is through the Remind app. So you may have had some experience in the past with this in other classes. I've already encouraged the students to sign up for this. Most of them have. Parents are welcome to also join the Remind group for our classes in case you want to know what's going on. I don't use it super often. I actually have used it more this year than I have in past years, just because everybody is remote. But usually I'll just kind of use it periodically to remind students about tests or quizzes or turning something in, things like that. So if you're interested in being a part of our class, you're just going to text this code for your respective class to the number 81010 and you will get signed up. Or if your student hasn't signed up yet, I would encourage them to do so. There are a handful of students that haven't yet, and it makes it really hard sometimes to get in touch with them when I need to, if it's something super important. Classroom expectations. So the rest of the slides that I'm going to talk about are things that are from our class syllabus. So our classroom expectations are pretty standard. Students are expected to obviously follow the rules, keep up with the class, keep up with their work, keep up with the assignments, ask for extra help. I know that can be a little bit more difficult given our situation right now. But the students are doing a pretty good job of asking questions in class and speaking up if they don't understand something. So all of the typical expectations still apply during our remote learning time. So our grading scale right now is very different from what it normally is. We basically have two categories. We have summative assignments and we have our final exam. So our summative assignments are things like quizzes, tests, projects, really it could be anything, but it's generally kind of more major assignments. And that is what is factoring into the student's grade right now as 80% of their overall class average. So things that are just practice are not really counting at this point. So things like homework, if we had a practice quiz or something like that, those grades really aren't factoring into the class average, although I am still putting those things into the grade book. They're just not factoring into the overall average, but I did want to still put them in the grade book so that parents could see, what their child has been turning in, if they're missing things. Some of the students, have sort of gotten into a bad habit of not really turning in a lot of things because we are remote, and so I wanted to make sure that parents could still see that. So I encourage you to check out Infinite Campus if as a way of sort of checking your student's grade if you're interested. They do have an app. If you haven't used the app, it's really convenient. My son is in 3rd grade, and he is in Fulton County as well, and it's really easy to see his stuff on my phone, and you can set it where you get alerts and when new grades are posted, and it's really nice. So I encourage you to check out the Infinite Campus app as well. I'm not sure how the grading will change later in the semester or later in the year, given that, you know, we will be coming back sort of slowly face-to-face, and then hopefully eventually all face-to-face. So I don't really know how that is going to work in the interim, but I'm sure that all of that will be communicated if and when there are changes to our grading system. But currently, it's what you see here on the slide, with the 80% and the 20%. Extra help. So right now my extra help sessions are Tuesday mornings or by appointment. It's a little tricky to do those right now because we're having to do those through Teams. So if a student would like to request extra help, please let me know. Please have your student reach out to me through email. It's very difficult because all of our classes are in separate teams. So it's very difficult for students in different classes to sort of all come to the same help session. So it's really going to be helpful for me if I know in advance, and then I can try to coordinate that with them and set up a meeting, instead of trying to do some sort of on the fly thing. That's a little bit harder to do in Teams. We are still offering a recovery process, so it's a little bit different this year currently because of our remote situation. So I do encourage you to check out the recovery form that's on the class website or in Teams. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out. Some of the students have already taken advantage of the test or quiz correction portion of that, and they were able to do some quiz corrections and earn back some points on some quizzes. So it's already sort of in progress, but it is just a little bit different this year, given our current circumstances. Our textbook is from McGraw-Hill. It is available on ClassLink. There is an online version. The students can go into ClassLink and they're going to look for the McGraw-Hill icon. It's red and white, and they can go in there and they can have access to the online textbook if they need it. We have not really used the textbook yet, and to be honest, we probably won't use it much for this first semester. So we may for other topics, but the bulk of this first semester is a lot of trigonometry topics, and I just happen to use other resources for that. So they may not need to access the textbook really right now. So what we've been doing, we are still in our first unit. We're about to wrap up our first unit. We actually are going to have a quiz later in the week, a test later in the week on Thursday and Friday, the 17th and 18th. So they're finishing up their first unit, learning about the unit circle, learning about reference angles. Next up, we're going to be graphing trig functions. We're going to be talking about law of sines and cosines, a lot more trig stuff. That's going to pretty much take us through the whole first semester. And then second semester, we're going to be talking about matrices and maybe conics and vectors. Vectors will tie into physics. I don't know if anybody's in physics right now or if that comes a little bit later, but that will sort of cross over a little bit with some physics topics and then parametric and polar functions. So that's our plan for the year. Again, if you guys have any questions for me, please email me, check out the website. I have included a Q&A form on the class website. On the main page, there's a box there to click for curriculum night, which is where this video is located, but there's also frequently asked questions, and there is also a place for you to go to a form that will let you ask me any questions that you have. So thank you for this. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and please don't hesitate to email me if you need anything or have any questions. Thanks so much.